Life did not punish Nelson immediately. After Machi left with her baby, he felt free. The house was quiet again. No crying baby, no weak voice begging, and no responsibility staring at him in the face. He told himself he had escaped a trap. Money was still around him then. Friends still called. Drinks still flowed and women still followed him like flies. So he convinced himself that he made the right choice. She wanted to use me, he told anyone who asked. My brother, I just dodged a bullet. The lie worked. He soon got one final chalugo. This one was louder, bolder, more educated, and always dressed well. She liked his money, and Nelson liked how she showed him off. He spoiled her with a lot of goodies, took her everywhere, and flashed her around. He removed Machi's name completely and erased the baby from his mouth. For a while, life smiled at him, but money that comes suddenly does not stay for so long. The same deal that lifted Nelson up began to shake. One wrong decision followed another. People he trusted disappointed him, and friends who once surrounded him disappeared one by one. Nelson noticed, but he did not panic. He believed another miracle would happen, but he did not. Bills began to pile up. His phone stopped ringing, and the wonderful Achalugo he planned to marry started changing. She complained more. She respected him less, and she began to ask questions. Why are things this tight now? Where's the big money you promised? I can't manage because I don't know how to, and I am not ready to learn such. Nelson shouted instead of answering because he was frustrated. One evening, after a serious argument, she packed her bags. I can't suffer with you, she said. I did not sign up for this at all. See my skin now. It's not glowing again because my skincare products finished 2 days ago. She left without looking back. Nelson sat alone that night and cried. It was the first time silence felt heavy. Days passed and life became uncomfortable. It dawned on him that he had no savings or investments anywhere. He had just been lavishing his money on unnecessary things, thinking he would remain Nelson, the money man. Now that he had fallen, he really fell yakata to the ground. Nothing was left to hold him up. He tried to borrow money, but people told him long stories that had no relationship with the money he was asking for. He tried to reconnect with old friends, but they all became busy overnight. And then he tried to pretend he was still okay, but his body betrayed him because hunger humbled him. One afternoon, while scrolling through his phone with borrowed data, he saw something that made his chest tighten. He saw Machi. But this time, she wasn't the broken girl he remembered and not the quiet beggar he threw out. This Machi was different. She was smiling. She was confident and she was very successful. Her business page was active. People commented and people praised her work. He moved from one video to another until he stumbled on the wedding video. No, this can't be. Machi cannot be married now, he said. So, who will then be my wife? What about my daughter? Mbano. Machi, this had better be an ad for a wedding gown. He watched the video more than once. Machi looked beautiful, healthy, and she was at peace. Her daughter stood beside her, smiling freely, held by a man who looked proud. Nelson dropped the phone immediately and he started regretting. He remembered how he mistreated her, how he threw them out of his house, and he remembered his words. I don't want you or the baby. For the first time, those words sounded ugly to him. He slapped his head as if he wanted to reset himself. He thought about how things would have been. He imagined himself in that video. He imagined his daughter calling him daddy and how much you would have been a source of help to him now that things were not going on fine. No, this wouldn't have even gone bad in the first place, he concluded, because Machi is a gatherer. That girl wouldn't have wrecked me. See the gold that I missed because of my bad character. But there is still hope for me now, Abby. Machi can leave her husband for me, right? Or the man can even die because of me. He's occupying my position. He made the decision immediately to reach out. At first, he sent a message. Machi did not reply. He called. She did not pick up. He tried again another day. Still nothing. Nelson felt small, so he did what weak men do when pride fails. He sent people. First, a mutual friend, then an aunt, then someone who he felt she would listen to. They all carried the same message. He wants peace. He wants to see his daughter. Let bygones be bygones. Machi listened quietly each time. Then she finally spoke. For 8 years, she said calmly, he did not remember peace. Now that God has given me peace that surpasses all human imagination, he wants to bring his Obanji spirits. Tell him to hold this peace, because my daughter and I, we don't need it. When Nelson heard all this, he decided to show up himself. He went to her shop. He was blown away because the videos he had been seeing online does not in any way match the beauty he met on ground. When he saw Umachi in person, his heart dropped. She looked beautiful. You could tell that this one had touched money. She stood tall, confident and unafraid. Nelson greeted her nervously and she greeted him politely. Nothing more. He began to talk fast, like someone afraid his time will run out. He apologized. He blamed circumstances. He spoke about regret and he mentioned their daughter again and again. I just want to be in her life, he said. I am her father and she will be needing me when it's time for her to get married. Please, my dear, forgive and forget all that I've done. Let bygone be bygone. Machi listened until he finished. Then she smiled and replied, to err is human, but forgiveness depends on what you said. What you said and what you did was heavy. She reminded him of the beatings, the hunger, the rejection, the words he spoke, and the baby he denied. Nelson could not look up. You said she belonged to my parents, Machi said, and that I should do with her what I feel like to do with her. So please, remain where you put yourself. Nelson begged. That was when Machi stood firm. For 8 solid years, I carried everything alone. Now that I'm married, you want to return and scatter my home? Her voice hardened slightly. I won't allow it. Now, your time is up. Get out of my shop and never return again, not even in your dreams. If you do, then I will be forced to fight you with my money and influence. But Nelson did not stop. After that day, his calls came almost every day. Sometimes he sent messages filled with apology, regrets, and empty promises. Machi read, deleted, and she replied to no one. Anytime Nelson tried to show up physically, she refused access. My life has moved on, she told herself, and I will not drag it backward. Instead of spending her energy disturbing herself, she poured everything into her business. She planned content, and sometimes she got inspiration from Nelson's misbehavior. She responded to customers and she delivered quality. Her husband noticed her focus and stepped in fully, not as a boss, but as a partner. He helped her structure her work. He helped her organize orders and he helped her see beyond stress. Together, they built a system and a team. One person became her assistant, another handled deliveries, another helped to respond to the online audience. Slowly, her workload reduced, but her output increased. Machi trained them carefully. She taught them discipline. She taught them respect for customers, and she taught them quality. Soon, she was no longer running everywhere alone. She was now leading. Nelson's messages continued for a while. Then they reduced, and then they stopped. Not because he changed, but because he realized he no longer mattered. Machi did not celebrate that. She simply kept on building. Her business now spoke louder than any argument. Her growth answered every insult, and her peace became her response. She became grateful that the vow she made years ago had been fulfilled. She advanced with her success. She decided to build a decent four-bedroom apartment for her parents. She bought the land. She approved the plan, and she paid workers steadily. Each block laid felt like healing. Her parents did not know until the building had risen above foundation level. When she took them there one evening and told them it was theirs, her mother sat on the background and cried. Machi smiled quietly. What she did not know was that someone else was watching. Nelson had been watching her from afar. Every update about Machi felt like fire in his chest. The business growth, the marriage, the respect. Now, even a house. He could not understand it. How can she ignore me like this? He asked himself again and again. I was her first, and I took her innocence for heaven's sake, so she is mine forever. That lie became his madness, and he took a deadly decision. One afternoon, as Machi came to inspect the project, she felt proud, seeing how far the workers had gone. On her way back, everything changed. A car stopped suddenly, double crossing her. Before she could react, strong hands grabbed her out and covered her mouth. She struggled briefly, but fear froze her strength. They drove for a while and stopped at an uncompleted building. When they pulled her out, her heart pounded. The place was lonely, empty, and cold. She was shocked to see that the mastermind behind all this nonsense was Nelson. Her shock was heavy, but she did not scream. Nelson stepped forward with his wide eyes. Apparently, he was high. You can't leave me, he said angrily. I deflowered you. I took your innocence, and that binds you to me forever. Machi looked at him calmly, feeling sorry for what he had become. You will call your husband, Nelson continued. You will tell him that you are not interested in that marriage anymore. Thank God you have not given birth, and from what I can see, you are not pregnant yet. My child cannot be trained by another man, and that's on period. He became calm now. Come on now, think about this, my love. It will even give you prestige to have all your children with just one man, no different men. We were meant for each other. Think about our good old days, and with you, my life will bounce back. Machi said nothing. In her mind, she thought, this one is a local dirty champion. He doesn't have anything to lose, so I have to be very careful. She prayed, God, please save me from his hands. May no evil cross his mind. Meanwhile, Nelson kept on ranting, moving closer and being carried away by his madness. He did not notice Machi's focus, and he did not notice her readiness. When he came too close, she acted. She struck him sharply and immediately, without hesitation, under his legs. Nelson screamed and fell. The madness left his eyes instantly. Machi did not wait. She ran until she found help. She got home that day shaking. Not shaking from fear anymore, but from the heavy release that comes after danger passes. The moment she stepped into the house, her strength left her body. Her husband noticed immediately. He did not ask questions at first. He heard her and made sure she was fine. When Machi finally spoke, she told him everything from the inspection sites to the car to the uncompleted building and to Nelson standing there like a misunderstanding that refused to end. Her husband listened quietly. His face did not change, but something hardened inside him. So, he finally crossed this boundary, he said calmly. Okay, then There is no problem at all. He took her hands gently and then he told her, relax, my dear. Be the baby girl that you are. You have done your part. Allow me to do mine. You see, some people don't want you back in their lives because they love you. They simply want you back because they are failing. I didn't meet him in your life, so I can't be struggling or fighting over what is mine with a failure. So relax and watch me handle this thing man to man. There was no anger in his voice, and that scared Machi more than shouting would have. He asked for one thing. Please, give me his address. Machi hesitated for a second, then gave it to him. Her husband kissed her forehead and said, nothing will happen to you again, and he meant it. Funny enough, this is daughter that Nelson now suddenly wants to die for has never asked of him, not even for a day, and that alone was a blessing to Umachi. She called Machi's husband daddy without being taught. The word came naturally like it belonged there because he treated her like his own. He paid school fees even when Machi is capable. He told her plainly that she is their first child and their born children will never hear from him that she's from a different father. The next day, he stepped out early. Machi thought he went to work, but he did not. He went to meet men who had been trained under the sun and the rain to set people's brain. When he explained what Nelson did and what he wants, one of the men shook his head and said, don't worry, sir. We know the language he will understand. Nelson was busy enjoying his own foolish confidence in his house. He had been moving around since that incident, telling himself stories. She can't do anything. Who will she tell? I was her first. She's with my child and I want my child right now. Is it hard to ask? If by month's end she has not decided, I will so deal with her and that her business that she's priding on will crash so that we can both be on the same level. He even laughed out loud, but that laughter did not last because a knock came. Nelson opened the door casually and froze because he saw serious military men. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. One of the men asked calmly, are you Nelson? Nelson nodded like a child caught with a stolen mate. Good, the man said. Come with us. Why? Nelson asked foolishly. Trust them now. One slap gave him the answer that he needed. But I am not dressed. I am not with my phone and I need to lock the door. They dragged him and he forgot all those things. On the way, his confidence leaked out of the car like air from a punctured tire. His legs shook, his mouth became dry, and his brain started remembering Jesus. When they arrived at open field, Nelson was no longer forming. He was now answering, yes, sir, to everybody. They made him do several exercises. Thereafter, they gave him some decorations on his face and body. One blow, 7 apples. When they were done, they explained boundaries to him. They explained consequences and they explained reality. Nelson nodded until his neck was tired. Then they brought a paper for him to sign an undertaking. If anything happens to Umachi, if anything happens to her child, and if anything happens to her husband or even her parents, I, Nelson, will be held responsible. He signed, and by the time he left that place, his madness had completely left his body. His shoulders dropped, and his eyes looked different. From that day, he walked like someone who has seen behind the curtain. Till today, and until Jesus comes, he had not said anything again about Machi and her daughter. Hey, African Tales by Kava Tribe, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. I hope you enjoyed the story as much as I did. Before I leave today, please permit me to say this. I want you all to remember one thing clearly. Machi's life did not change because life was fair to her. It changed because she refused to let one mistake define her forever. She was rejected. She was humiliated. She was abandoned with a baby, but she did not allow bitterness to become her home. She chose growth. She chose responsibility. She chose healing, and that choice changed everything. So if you are still struggling and dying with that mistake, you are making a very big mistake. Oh, you better come out and then wash it behind you and move forward. To every young girl listening to me, please, I need you to understand that love that rushes you is not love. Anyone who truly cares for you will not pressure you, confuse you, or put you in danger. Do not mistake sweet words for good character. Do not confuse attention with commitment. And please, do not believe that defiling the bed is a proof of love. To every single mother, please hear me clearly. Your life is not over. Your story is not finished, and you are not less because you are raising a child alone. Being a single mother does not mean you failed. Sometimes it simply means you were strong enough to stay when another person ran away. Do not let shame keep you small. Do not let people's mouths define your future. You are not raising a mistake. You are raising a human being with purpose. Yes, I believe and I know the journey may be hard. There will be days you will cry quietly, days you feel tired in your bones, days you wonder if anyone sees your efforts. But hear me very well. God sees you and that child sees you as well. Please focus on building yourself. Learn a skill if you have none. Improve your mind and protect your peace. Do not rush into another relationship just because you are lonely. Loneliness can make bad decisions look attractive. Wait for someone who respects you and your child. Also, forgive yourself. That is very important. And I can tell you for free that one day your child will grow and say, "Thank you, mommy, for not giving up on me." And that will be your greatest reward. So hold your head high. Take it one day at a time. And remember, you can build something beautiful from that broken heart. And you are stronger than you think. Now, dear Karma Tribe, with this, I sign out from today's story. But tell me in the comment section, what lesson did you learn from Machi's journey? Please don't forget to give the story a thumbs up, share out to your loved ones. If you have not subscribed to this channel, I beg you in the name of God to punch on that subscribe button so that you can join the Karma Tribe free of charge. And if you wish to support me in any way, you can buy me a coffee by using the link on my bio or the link on the description of this video. Until I bring the next interesting story your way, it's a goodbye from here and God bless you.